So you have a spot for the composition. I'm just going to lay it out there, so always trying to think of that in each of your sketches as you put this together. Again, I'm just going to use a template to help me out with this, and this is an example you've seen before. This is just the button. It's a flat shape that just has a thickness to it. The back side of these particular ones have their advertising on the back. Badge of Mint. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of embossed into the metal, gives them the 800 number, so that you can actually purchase, if you wanted to, this machine that makes these buttons, just as it's a printed piece that's sandwiched in between thin piece of mylar and two metal stamps that make the crimping of that edge right on the top. So as a marketing item, that's a huge one. And just coming down here. So again, going to try to put the logo onto this, so it's not difficult at all, just a circular piece. So I'm just trying to give myself a good frame on this. And then again, trying to transfer this over onto the computer. So I'm just going to use a guideline right there to help me. Give myself a center line. So I'm using the edge of the template on the top of the page. So let's see about that. And setting this up here. So again, you're kind of simulating what you can see as reference. So there's a PDF file that has that section on there. I'm just going to drop this down, just slightly change the thickness of this a little bit, and hopefully you can see how that guideline goes down, and just dropping this one down a little bit. So basically that's all it is, just putting that piece together. The hardest part is going to be trying to place the graphic on there, because now before you were wrapping it on a cylinder, now it's going to be a flat selection here. So let's see. But since it's a pretty large type, it should be a little easier to fit in there. So depending on whether you do it with a type that's straight color or you want to do it in reverse, it's up to you. Just try to give you those options. I'm going to still do it in a reverse font, but first I have to plot this out, and depending on which way you do this, I could use it as at an angle. It could try to be straight, but it's going to have some perspective to it. So I'm going to give this angle here, and I could get away, and I'll show it to you. I'm just going to use a 30-degree angle for this, just to help me out. You can, as long as they're either parallel lines or lines that come together ever so slightly on that page there. So that just gave me two parallel lines right here. Whoop. Blurry on there. See if that'll do it. So here's the two parallel lines. They go the opposite direction. And here I'm using a little bit of the help with this template and the triangle. You can keep those as well. So just kind of fitting this square onto the piece. So there's the overall space. It has to have 4 lines of type. So if you divide it visually, you can place that in there. So I'm going to give myself a baseline and a height line for the type. So that gives me the 4 spaces, or at least the 4 lines to help me out there. Now they may be a little tighter than outside, so I'm going to go with the first line of type. Here's the center. And again, whether you do this in reverse, where it's white type on a black background, that's entirely up to your choice on there. I'm just going to try to fit this in here. So there's the C, the L, and the E. So if I just pick one of these just to start, Again, there's the rectangle, and here's the letter L. Putting the letter E. So keeping these parallel is the key to have it kind of look orderly. So if you can see that part up there. And just kind of basically placing that in there very carefully at first. And clean it up as I go. So the next line, just the 4 letters. And coming back here. Keep that parallel there. And go into the edge of this. So this type is justified, meaning it's equal on either side. So that makes it a little bit easier. So there's the L. So it has the I. Just kind of lightly placing it in there, so if I make any mistake I still have some room to fix it. Fest coming down here. So there's the graphic kind of laid out. Don't have to worry too much about the section, but just to show you the edge of this. Building that part up, keeping these lines straight. And so now I have it laid out, I just have to go back and heavy that section up. I'll take the main section of this. So just to repeat a little bit of it. I'm going to go ahead and make it dark behind the back of this. So there's the CLE part. International part. So again, just using the reverse part of the type to help you illustrate that. to see it building up. And again, just try to keep those lines parallel for you into that shape there. Again, that just reverses itself out. And keep the lines pretty accurate here.
You're good. I need to cut my class and just come here and watch you.
And the S is the one that's going to go above and below the base and height line. It makes it very easy. And in this case, I'm just going to put this in a rectangular shape. And once you have that, just take the selection, and it'll go right around. Go right around this part. So you can still shade this. And just step in just slightly to give it a highlight.